Hi folks, today I want to talk about something a little abstract, meritocracy. And please pardon my language. So Michael Sandel, a professor from Harvard, whose lectures on justice made him a rockstar philosopher, he wrote a book last year called The Tyranny of Merit. If you're familiar with the political debate between China and the West, meritocracy, or more precisely, political meritocracy, is a powerful argument against Western-style electoral democracy. You would come across this term numerous times if you have been a long avid reader of Guancha. It's often translated as 贤能政治, 选贤任能, etc., etc. So the basic logic is, elections in the West are largely a farce, so they could end up choosing charismatic but totally worthless dickheads at the expense of the public. Just like the bad hair accordion master who likes to grab attention as much as pussies. Or even worse, a sleepy pants shitter who couldn't even control his rectum, let alone a country. We don't want that. We want to have someone really good and smart and capable in the leading position. But everyone is good and smart and capable according to himself. So in a country of 1.4 billion people, you gotta have a mechanism to measure people's aptitudes and choose the most qualified, most meritorious within the population. And once they become officials, they need to constantly prove that they are worthy of the power vested in their hands, especially they have greater ambitions. So far, the most common proof of an official's capability is to have a stellar GDP performance under his belt. Well, that KPI may soon change, but this is how we understand meritocracy. So why is Professor Sandel against this? He says that it has an inherent dark side. It justifies the rule of the elite by confirming a misconception that winners are worthy of winning because they are so damn good. You think you're good? How did you become so good? You got talents? Are they natural or nurtured? You went to elite school? What got you into that school? What are your grades or your dad's money? If you know a thing or two about higher education in the United States, you know it's really designed for people who are higher up in a social hierarchy, as 2/3 of Americans don't have a college degree. In Ivy League colleges, there are more students from the top 1% families than those from the bottom half combined. Education is a way for the elite to entrench social privileges by passing on their advantages to their kids. In China, things are a bit different because of the much lambasted National College Entrance Examination, or Gaokao, which naturally encourages rote learning and becoming 做题家. Despite many shitty aspects, the system is not without merit. It selects students purely on the basis of academic performance. Those with poor grades got filtered out. There's no way to get around it. Rich dads can't buy top-tier education for the dumbass kids. So this is a fair evaluation system, whereas resumes, personal statements, interviews are not. They're full of loopholes. They may not be the real reason you lose your candidacy to the other guy. Maybe his father just donated a freaking library. That's why. As a result, many resourceful families tend to groom their kids for Western education, with US colleges being their top choice. And I respect that. They have every reason to pursue a better education. But education is not only about personal development. It is also about maintaining social cohesion and dynamism. If there must be a social ladder, we gotta ensure that everyone has a fair chance to make the climb. If I knew I get screwed over by the rich and powerful who could cheat their way up because the system intentionally keeps backdoors open for them, how would I feel? Should I champion civic unity and live in harmony with the system riggers because they are my compatriots? Fuck you! So going back to Sandel's book, it goes on to suggest that meritocracy is corrosive of the common good, as it destroys the kind of humility we need to build an inclusive society. Because if you are so damn proud of yourself, full of yourself, it'll be hard to put yourself in other people's shoes, especially that of those who lose out in the competition. If you don't see from their perspective, you don't understand why there is so much anger. Is he right in identifying elite hubris as an important source of America's social woes? Yes, of course. Not only in America, here in China too. We had the greatest economic transformation in human history in a matter of decades. As the economy grew, many people amassed great fortunes and became the new rich class. They are the winners. But did they win because they were smart, hardworking, visionary, more so than those who lost out? Not really. There's a joke about this. 3 weirdos went up a building, taking an elevator. They did all sorts of funny stuff on their way up. And when they finally came out of the elevator on the top floor, people asked them, how did you guys arrive here? One said he got to the top by running on the spot. Another said he came this far because he did push-ups. And the last one said, no, it's all about banging your head against the wall. No one gave a shit about the elevator. Human cognition is deeply flawed. We tend to be so arrogant that we think our success has everything to do with ourselves. Whereas the truth is, you probably just aligned yourself, maybe even unconsciously, with the megatrends. So be humble, be respectful, and so far I agree with Sandel 100%. But then he blamed it all on meritocracy. Here I beg to differ. Now, let's take a closer look on the term itself. You notice meritocracy ends with cracy, same as words like theocracy, democracy, autocracy, and plutocracy. Cracy has nothing to do with crazy. It comes from the Greek suffix kratos, meaning power or rule. So theocracy means the rule of a religion, democracy the rule of people, autocracy the rule of one person, and plutocracy the rule of money. Meritocracy means the rule of the meritorious, those who have merit. And merit means worth or worthiness. So this is the crux of the matter. It has two layers of meaning. A, one's ability must be worthy of the duties tasked with. B, greater the responsibility, greater the reward. And in a capitalist, consumerist market economy where money makes men, everything has a price tag. There can be no value outside money. A little pathetic, but it wouldn't be so bad if fairness didn't get taken out of the equation, if people were fairly compensated. But throughout human history, fairness has always been an exception in the absence of conscious intervention, whereas inequality has been the norm. What do I mean by intervention? An unrelenting effort to keep the social ladder intact. Because our selfish instincts will tell us to get rid of the ladder once we make it to the top. Simple. Fewer competitors, more spoils. There must be an impartial state, free from elites' capture, to balance against those who wield enormous economic power. Otherwise, they will squeeze life out of everything that's fair. The death of fairness at the hands of elite is the reason why many Americans are so pissed off. Because the elite, with obscene amount of income, has distorted the value system so hard by grossly overvaluing their contribution, so that ordinary people could no longer see the value of their labor reflected by incomes. This really is what disunites the United States, not meritocracy. Just to the contrary, meritocracy is the last guardian of fairness. If you look at Keju, the predecessor of Gaokao, it allows the state to become impartial in its selection of future bureaucrats instead of reserving such lucrative positions for princelings and nobility. The state actively reaches out to the people from the grassroots and invites them to become managers of a nation. You could be nobody from a family of nobodies, but if you could prove yourself to be a smart guy, then you are hired and be rewarded and respected accordingly. This kind of upward mobility is absolutely vital. This is meritocracy. It's all about selecting the most meritorious candidates for the job and keeping him on the job. But of course, there's a clause. If he becomes so arrogant, an asshole, and seeks privileges, then he's no longer meritorious or worthy of the power vested in his hands. So let's select another round, inject new lifeblood into the system and get him replaced, provided we still have the ladder. Sandel is absolutely right to criticize the smugness of the elite class, but the problem is more to do with the greenback's distortion of value than with meritocracy, a precious little pathway for commoners to thrive in an otherwise hostile environment. So at least they still stand a chance. Denying or destroying meritocracy is throwing out the baby with the bathwater. He also warned the public against fighting meritocratic war for credentials and focus more on making life better. Laudable intention, but as the elite class tightens its grip on power and wealth, how can we make life better if we give up the fight? Well, this is Perspective. Thank you for watching.